Coming up on Added Time.
He swears it's blue, I swear it's red. We might both be right.
He did a fantastic job, but you also need to adapt, and I don't think that he's adapted well enough.
It's who we are, mate.
Yeah.
Like taking the piss out of him.
We don't really care if you win at that. You know, that just doesn't look good to us. Right?
Foz, Boz, good to see you.
Yep,
Good to see
always.
you too, Adam, Foz.
Ange Paul. The intense gaze starts now on Ange Postecoglou at Nottingham. Can he cope with it, given what he went through at Spurs?
Of course he can cope with it. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand, obviously we do, that I'll give you an example. When I come back to this country in 2008 and we were working on TV with him at Fox Sports, you know, he told me then that he'd been rejected, listen to this, from Melbourne Heart, who Melbourne City are, and at that time Melbourne Heart weren't like Melbourne City are, for the assistant's job. So when that happens to somebody in one's life, when you get rejected and you feel that low by sort of like, no disrespect, but say a team like Melbourne Heart were then, I think you develop that type of either resilience that nothing's going to bother you going forward, or you basically just fade away. He's definitely not faded away. He's used to it in terms of the pressure that he received at Spurs. That would have been an experience for him, just as much as he's been managing throughout his career. At the Premier League, it is different on the pitch and off the pitch. There's no doubt about that. But he would have known that before, but experience is a different thing. He's definitely ready for it. Whether or not he will produce, that is really the question. You know, how he goes about it, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But whether he produces or not, that's what we're all interested in waiting to see. Because
even out of the weekend, Foz, I've seen the commentary. Front page of The Observer on Sunday morning is, it's who we are, mate. Yeah. Like taking the piss out of him, basically. TalkSport this week, no time. I don't know if being out of London or Manchester helps him, but there's going to be like a fair amount of fire thrown his way. Can he catch it and deal with it?
Well, I think there's probably more scrutiny at Spurs, you know, and he lived through that. I mean, what he was able to achieve by getting to the Europa League, let alone winning it, is pretty extraordinary last season. So as difficult as this journey could be, and it may be very difficult, because he has to both change the football and get results. And that's without a pre-season, which a team builder always wants or needs a pre-season to prepare the team to be ready, right? So he has to come in and get it moving immediately, which his comments reflect after his first game against Arsenal. But you know, last season, you're not going to get any more intense pressure than that, because that is a bigger club. That is a club that has, you know, very high expectations, and you know, and you've finished, you know, 17th. So that was intense pressure. And I think the impressive part about that is that Ange was able to keep the players on board throughout all of that. That's what I was looking at externally and going, well, hang on a minute. Even at the end when he had left, and yes, he won the Europa League, so there is a lot of jubilation with the players, but even so, it was clear that they were still believing in what he was trying to do. And that's not easy when you've lost 22 games at that level, because don't forget, it's not just pressure on coaches, as Boswell, it's massive pressure on the players. You know, they're going to work on the field every week, and they're getting destroyed by their own supporters and by alternate supporters, and they're under pressure as well. So to maintain that playing group all the way to the end of the season, I think demonstrates that he has the capability to do likewise at Forest.
Yeah, because you read it last week, like they were trying to bait him in that opening press conference with what style are you going to play him? Almost like, OK, what are you going to say? And then we'll pin you with that. But I mean, the managers do all the talking in the Premier League. The players don't really do much talking publicly. They only do a little bit. But before every game, after every game, Europa League, Cups, Premier League, he's got to front them.
I've got to say as well, and for me, this has been the same since he's been Socceroo manager. And I know you're asking a question in that type of way, so I kind of include you in this, but I know you have to ask it. I think a lot of people here in Australia, because they like him so much, which is understandable. I like him as well, OK. But when it comes to him being questioned, or exactly the same towards the end of his tenure in the Socceroos, or people having a different opinion about it and all that, people get very touchy. Yeah. OK? Very, very touchy.
It's basically because I want to see him do well for Australian football, but I get your point of view.
But you see what you're saying? Like, you know, you're saying about, just who we are, mate, that they'll basically, you know, to make him fun. I don't think they're making fun of him. I just thought that they put that picture to say, this is who we are, i.e., who are you? That's all. Now, you can look at it whichever way you want to look at it. It's like that same story about two people right next to each other, say, like Craig and I, looking through the binoculars, looking at exactly the same thing. he swears it's blue, I swear it's red. We might both be right. But I think people get a little bit touchy. I've noticed the reactions even on social media and this, that and the other. The bottom line is this. He won a trophy for the first time in 17 years at Spurs' history. He has his way. Sometimes it's a bit prickly. Sometimes people like it. Sometimes people don't. But the fact is that they're giving him that scrutiny is far better than if they're completely ignoring him. Wherever he's in London, wherever he's in Manchester, won't make a difference. What will make a difference is what I'm saying to you, and I used to say this always, and this is what I say to people over here, when it gets to the very top level, and Craig will tell you, is the results. Okay? So this business of he's playing good, it's the results. He won a trophy. All right? Simple as that. Yeah? And you know what? He actually won a trophy playing in a way that's basically an antithesis to the way that his philosophy is.
Yeah, in the end.
And this will be the same here. Okay? The results is going to hide anything, vice versa. Whether it be the good results, hiding maybe things that are not quite so well, or bad results, hiding like basically the fact that you are progressing.
So at Celtic, it was like, how do we say this guy's name? And he got off to a flyer and it went well. At Spurs, it was like, oh, you can do it north of the border, south of the border is a bit different. He got off to a flying start. Everyone calmed down. At Nottingham Forest, he's got his first 20 games take place in 91 days, and that includes 2 international breaks. There is no time. There is no pre-season. How does he do that? Because that's my question, that when that heat comes on and he's trying to progress them bit by bit, there's no patience with that.
That's what virtually every coach has to deal with. That's the job, right? So the difference with Ange is, yes, it's critically important and it's wonderful to have an Australian at that level. And so, of course, Australian football is emotionally invested in him and we want him to do well. But most coaches don't have the luxury of going in early and being able to build the team in pre-season and so on. When you do have that chance, you're quite fortunate. Usually, most of them have to come in and fill a role when someone has bombed.
Yep.
Right? I think actually, as we said last week, this time is a little bit different in 2 ways. Firstly, he doesn't have time. Secondly, he doesn't have a broken squad. He has a squad where the other guy, Nuno, is actually doing very well. And that doesn't always happen. Equally...
Which means the scrutiny is going to be on
Well, I don't think
double.
it's going to increase. It is just going to be there, right?
Okay.
The thing about also Thomas Frank said the same thing, and again, that's what I've said about Ange. To walk out having lost 22 games and you still have a group that is very strong, that's an amazing effort. So Thomas Frank said, "What have you seen?" He said, "Oh, it's just they won the Europa League, but this group is incredibly together, right?" And that's always a credit to the former coach. It's also what Nuno has produced. So I think in other words, outside of the field, managing the media and managing the fans in particular is extremely important for any coach, because once they start to turn on you, it can affect the playing group. The coaches don't care so much, once they're experienced, about what the media do or don't say, except to the extent that it is going to affect the playing group and it's going to affect the results. And it can, and it does. So therefore, I think his commentary has been excellent. So what he did was he complimented, of course, the owner, but also Nuno. He was very careful on that. Then he went into the first game and everyone realised he only had 3 days, therefore you're not going to change a lot. And then the approach was effectively, look, I've seen where we are at now the job starts, and this isn't a project we need to go on Wednesday. Right? All of those comments are, I think, very skilled. That's an experienced coach, and what he's trying to undertake now under the most intense pressure, with a liked manager having left, with the expectations of this club at an all-time high, well, for decades anyway, it takes a tremendous amount of experience to now change the football and get the results. There's many coaches who can change the football. That's fine. And there's many coaches that could focus only on results, but that's not why Ange has been bought. So there's only a few, and you need a lot of decades' experience to be able to do both, and this is the big test.
I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson, I can just think back to the press conferences where he's just gone on the attack with me. Was that purely to put the shield up? Was there ones at Aston Villa that you had where you felt protected by the manager because he's out there as the shield for you guys in the dressing room to get on with what you guys need to do?
Well, that's part of the job. Proper managers protect their players. Give them credit when they win and take the blame when they lose. That is part of the job as a manager. That's one of the reasons.
But not everyone, boss.
Yeah?
I mean,
no, not everyone does it,
but
that's...
there's different...
Yeah, but that's that, for me, that's just my personal opinion, that's part of your job. It's as simple as that. And completely different circumstances. And I think what Ange would have learnt a lot, and this is what I used to say to people last season as well, regardless of the fact that he's been managing for so long, he's still relatively inexperienced in terms of Premier League. It was only his second season. This will be only technically his third season. Yeah. So to win that the Europa League was excellent. We know the league form was a disaster. But Fozzie makes a really good point before what he said. This is different because remember when he came to Spurs, Antonio Conte had pretty much taken it down to an all-time low in terms of the type of football they played. They didn't qualify for the Champions League. Remember, then he came and played that lovely football, was unbeaten for, I think, the first 11 games.
And he criticised the whole club, so the fans were like, get out, we need...
Spurs fans used to come up and go, we've got our football club back and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
But that quick, this is a different story. You've got the majority, and I would actually say, if we had to guess, the majority of players and the majority of fans basically sitting there going, why have you sacked Nuno Espirito Santo after our most successful season in 30 years?
Still to come on Added Time.
I think he's a very good coach, but he's inexperienced in a different league.
And when you're under pressure, in my opinion, or maybe you've had too much to drink on a night, a lot of times the truth comes out.
Ruben Amorim. So it feels like his philosophy, and that's such a big word in football, everyone likes to use it. What's your philosophy? What's your philosophy? His philosophy is his system, and he's getting panned for it after the Manchester derby. How does he change? What does he need to do? Is someone just going to tap him on the shoulder and say, mate, change or pack your bags?
I'm not so sure about the latter. I just want to make it clear to people about the difference between philosophy and the way of getting there, okay? So many a manager, but let's just take one of the most recent who explained to me, great player for the former Yugoslavia, Dragan Stojkovic. Worked under Arsene Wenger in Japan, managed in Japan, managed in China to great success. And like I said, wonderful experience. I had the good pleasure of I think it was about 10 years ago, sitting down with him in Botany Bay here in Sydney and just talking football for about 2 or 3 hours. And I asked him this exactly the same question. He said, your philosophy, in his opinion, this is very similar to what other managers I've had in my past have said as well, okay? Philosophy is what your idea about how you want to be known, your team to play. So, i.e., you could probably say like do you want to be, your philosophy is attacking football? Is your philosophy counter-attacking football? Is your philosophy a balance between the both?
Yep.
Is your philosophy just results at any cost? Right? He said, but the way you get there, i.e., the system you play, the tactics you employ, the plan, he said, those are things, in his opinion, that can be changed to achieve what you want to achieve from your philosophy. So we've got to get that straight. I think Ruben Amorim is a little bit confusing. Well, he's wedding his system, 3-4-3, to this philosophy when perhaps what everyone's trying to say to him is that it's okay to tweak that. It doesn't have to, your philosophy might be one of those things I just said. You can tweak that a little bit in terms of maybe, because of the players you've got or because it's not working, without affecting what your overall philosophy is. But the thing that really concerns me about Ruben Amorim, this is why I'm really interested to hear what Craig's got to say about this. This is the second or third time I've heard him say publicly, like post a Man City game, he basically turned around and said, it's easier to change one man than my philosophy.
Yeah.
So basically, he's referring to himself. He said this as well at the end of last season publicly. It's kind of like...
He said after Grimsby,
exactly. Now, and there were rumours at the end of last season that he threatened to resign. And I'm starting to think to myself, hang on a minute. How many more times does somebody want to say this publicly? Like, it's not a good sign. It's like kind of like, if you don't, for whatever reason it is, you don't know what the reason is, but if you don't want to be there, no, okay... Then, because I don't think that they can keep sacking managers. Well, they can't, and expect any type of real, genuine success.
It feels like, Fozzie, with this, and following on from what Boz said right there, that Amorim has forgotten the crucial ingredient in everything in life, and that's a little bit of logic. So logic would tell you that your system, if you are going to just bog standard do it every week and have the same patterns and movements, that it's very easy to coach against in the lead up to a game and nullify it. But now everyone's hopped on this subject, the scrutiny goes up, a bit like Ange with the fire going on and all of that. I just wonder what gives. It seems like a weird hill to die on if you're Ruben Amorim.
Very much so.
Yeah, it does. So just because they play a particular system, I guess it depends on the difference or the variations within it, and there can be a lot within a system of play,
Especially
which can make it very versatile and difficult to analyse against.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's a simple discussion. So, for example, Barcelona have a philosophy, but then they have different systems, but they only have a couple of different systems. And then when Valverde comes in and tries to play a 4-4-2, they say, well, we don't really care if you win at that. That just doesn't look good to us. Right? Ajax and others have systems of play and a philosophy which are wedded because they believe one leads to the other, whereas other clubs, have a type of philosophy as to how they want to approach the game, but then different systems. So I think it's true to say that, this kind of 3-4-2-1 that Amorim's playing has not worked with the current load of players, and he's just added several £100 million to that group, and it's still not working. So, eight games out of 31, 8 wins in the Premier League, and half of those to promoted teams. That cannot be Manchester United. So I think he's closer to the end of his tenure than the beginning, that's for sure. And people are right, in my view, to question, yes, you want to approach the game in this manner, but is this system of play conducive to this group of players? For example, Ugarte and Fernandes in the centre of midfield with a 2 protecting a back 3, in my personal view, is not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
Because
no chance.
There's a reason why... when Real Madrid were great, you had Casemiro there, and you had Kroos and these guys. You have a balance of players that can both defend and attack and create, but particularly to stop those counter-attacks. There's a reason why when Rodri was at Man City in their halcyon era of the last 5 years, why he could patrol that area because of that profile of the player. He doesn't have it.
So with his squad, I'll ask both you guys this. The top 4 in the Premier League, the ones gunning for the title, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal. How many players would they go out and splash out of the Manchester United squad £60 million plus on at the moment? Because my question is that Amorim's system worked in Portugal because, with all due respect, it was Sporting and Benfica, and he had the best players of that pool.
Porto. That's largely right.
Porto you can throw in.
Yeah.
But that's the key question.
Right. That's right.
The calibre of player.
It's a different standard. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to simplify this down as simple as possible because since I've been back in Australia, again, from 2008, I've heard a lot of times, and I'm sure, Foz, you've had the same, you hear people talking, and it's like they're guessing, but they're seeing if you will confirm it for them or not. Okay? Football is a broad church. There's many ways to win football games. Like Fozzie said, there's many ways to incorporate your philosophy. Some want to do it in a way that incorporates philosophy of the system. Others, like Barcelona, want to say, no, we've got to play a certain brand of football. Others, like Real Madrid, the most successful club in European history, just want to win. I don't care.
Yep.
One of the great strengths of Ancelotti is you couldn't really pin him down until he played any type of way. He just got the players and said, all right, this is what we're going to...
And he would adapt to the players.
Exactly. So I think right now, at this moment in time, he's really under pressure. And when you're under pressure, in my opinion, or maybe you've had too much to drink on a night, a lot of times the truth comes out. And I think the truth that's coming out from him is he's holding on to this system, like you said, what do you want to call it, 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, as a security blanket. It's like a game within a game, and he's stubborn on it, but it's not a hill to die on. What he needs is basically to turn around, like Fozzie said, and say, look, OK, I know how to do this system inside out, but Ugarte and Fernandes ain't going to be protecting Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw. It ain't going to happen. and we've got evidence to show that.
And nor is Casemiro at his age.
No. So, just turn around and just go, all right, for the time being, I might come back to that, but for the time being, this is what we're going to do. Because you've got some, you got some top players there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you look and you think, wow, these are some top players, who are we going to, who are we going to build our team around? Like Liverpool did for the last 10 or so years with Salah. Look at the success that they've had. So don't be... It's kind of like... And, there were similar soundings, remember, from Ange last season with Spurs. This is why you get those type of comments in the Observer that you mentioned. This is who we are, mate. Yeah, but you know what, Ange, to be fair to him?
He did change.
He did. In the quarterfinals against Eintracht Frankfurt, in the semi-finals against our beloved Bodo Glimt.
In the cup.
In the Europa Cup, yeah. In the Europa League, sorry. In the final.
But I mean, yeah.
But different story. See, Amorim's probably thinking, I'm thinking like long term, but I think he should start getting to thinking long term, forget about it. I need results now.
Well, it feels like, back to Boz's point about getting the truth out after a couple of drinks, maybe we need to get Ruben out for a couple of Aperol spritzes or something on a Friday night to get the absolute truth. Is he going to change, or are they going to change him? That's the big question in the next.
It doesn't look like it, and it does appear as though he's just going to, he's going to continue until such time as he's out of it. I mean, I agree with you, Adam. That is, I think he's a very good coach, but he's inexperienced in a different league. With different demands, which is much more intense, which has much more vertical transitions. People just go at you quickly. I mean, look at what Bournemouth are doing, for example.
Unbelievable.
Right? Incredible performances with real, huge intensity.
Iriola's the next coach to go to a big club, isn't he?
He's doing an outstanding job, right? So all of a sudden, English football demands of this league is different to the demands over here. Now, you did a fantastic job, but you also need to adapt, and I don't think that he's adapted well enough, and he is still a young coach. He may well end up going away, learning, coming back. But all he has to do... I do think, I've got to say, that Manchester United should be attacking team. Right? That's the history of the club.
But don't you think their best players are the attacking players? That's where you should be building the team around?
Well, my recollections of Manchester United were kind of a swashbuckling team that always wanted to win. That's why you had all the old Fergie time. That's why you had winning late. They would never take the foot off the pedal. They were fiercely aggressive as well as very attacking, right? And that's what I think Manchester United should be. However, he's not going to get it playing this particular system. If he changed his system of play, he can still do the same thing. And I think he'd be wise to do it.
Still to come on Added Time.
Chelsea at home, loss. At Bournemouth away, draw.
And on that point, do not care.
I think Arsenal are interesting. You've got Barca, Bayern and Liverpool.
We've got a segment, or a couple coming up here. First one is onside, offside. The rules are such. I say a statement, and if you agree with it, it's onside. If you don't, it's offside. We can't go to VAR, right? We haven't got semi-automated. It's just a strident opinion. Okay. Onside, offside. Liverpool will have an invincible Premier League season.
Just Premier League or
Premier
every
League.
competition?
38 games, Premier League.
Not get beaten? Well, I'll go the opposite. I'll play devil's advocate. I'll go the opposite of you.
I say possible, but unlikely.
Unlikely. So offside.
I'm offside.
It's offside.
That's offside. And that is because the teams underneath them, I don't think are demonstrating that they have the quality. Manchester City are all over the place. I'm not quite sure Chelsea yet. And I don't know if Arteta can beat him because he goes too defensive when he comes up against him. But at the same time...
it's a long season.
It's a long season, and the quality of the Premier League means... Look what happened even with Bournemouth when they played against Liverpool. There's always someone who can get you because that's the strength in depth.
Onside, I'll go opposite. I'll go onside.
You reckon they can?
I reckon that. Well, I reckon they can because I reckon they've played 50 to 60... a little bit better each game, but still, I reckon 60, 65% of their potential, and they're undefeated.
And they've still got Isaac to come.
And they've still got Isaac to come. I think the more pertinent question is, where is Isaac going to fit in when he does? Well, when he is 100% fit, where does he play?
We can't do that. You only got to do onside, offside.
Yeah? Okay, sorry. All right,
and
onside.
on that point, do not care.
Well, you don't. That's why I don't think you should really be involved in any conversation surrounding Alexander Isak. Because you're biased.
On Added Time, I'm banned from bringing...
Yeah, I think so. That's only fair. Yeah.
Onside, offside. Graham Potter is the most under-fire manager in the Premier League at the moment.
Oh, I'll go onside. He's obviously him and the gentleman we just spoke about, Ruben Amorim. No doubt about that. And again, patience is a very, very rare commodity when it comes to Premier League owners. We know that. And I just think that basically the one thing that they've got to sort themselves out with West Ham, and especially Graham Potter as well, and we saw this a little bit, not so much at Brighton, but saw this a little bit at Chelsea, when things aren't going well, it's kind of like, I'm looking at him on the side, it's like, come on, mate, get him going a bit, so, unless he might, look, listen, there's a lot of coaching courses.
How long does he have for these answers?
Yeah, he's gone the 20.
Okay, he's gone 20. There's a lot of coaching courses around the town that says you've got to remain calm and all that, but I'm just waiting for him, if I want West Ham to win, say, come on, mate, get him going.
Show something. Onside, offside, Potter.
Oh, I say offside because Amorim is clearly the most under the pressure manager right now because of the scale of the club. But, you know, it's a close run race. I'd also say Emery's got to be, you know, starting to come under pressure soon. Not quite yet, but what a Villa's horrendous start to the season.
Haven't scored a goal.
Yeah.
Haven't scored a goal.
Okay, you don't mention Villa, I won't mention Isak, and then we're even.
We'll be right. He's got enough credit for what he's done so far.
Onside, offside, here's one. Jose Mourinho will be managing in the Premier League by season's end.
I'll go onside.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's great.
Job.
Be great. Yeah, it'd be great to have him back. It's always great to have Jose Mourinho managing in your league.
False?
I'd have to probably agree that it's likely because I think he wants it to happen, and when he wants it to happen, you know, he's going to agitate. You know, as soon as someone's under enough pressure, I think. So I think there's a good chance. And you know what? I would like it actually because he's a great character. He's an amazing character. Yeah.
Wolves, could you say, with the, you know, that Portuguese flavour at that club?
I don't think he would take a team that could really up one of the favourites ever say get relegated.
Okay.
I don't think that would be.
Yeah, he wants a certain scale of club, that's for sure.
We'll keep coming back to that.
At least a scale of club that he knows that he's got a chance of, for example, winning something like Conference League or getting to Europe or something like that, yeah?
Crystal balls is all about predictions, fearless predictions, or you can have an element of fear in them. I don't care. Either way you want to play it. And it's around the Champions League, which starts this week, of course, on Stan Sport, every game live. Give us a champion, gents, and a dark horse for the competition. I'm going to hop in here with my opinion after your learned opinion.
Okay, no, you go. Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, right, okay.
Champion.
Quarterfinals, semi-finals last year, final, I reckon, this year, and win their first ever Champions League, I'm going to go Arsenal.
Arsenal?
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
And
for me, it was like just to sort of say. I mean,
a good one. Yeah.
Paris would be very, very hard to beat, but it's so hard to retain your title. It's only Real Madrid in the Champions League era have done it, haven't they? That's the only one that have done it.
And also, they got the issues also with the Club World Cup and all that stuff. You know, that Chelsea have.
Chelsea have. Then, but yeah, exactly. So
dark horse.
I'm going to go dark horse. Well, you just said it. Dark horse, just like dark horse for the Premier League title, Chelsea.
Okay.
I don't know really if they are a true dark horse.
They've only spent $8.3
That's what I'm saying in terms of the personnel they've been able to recruit.
Yeah.
But I really think if you turned around and said to everybody around the world, pick your top 4 possible winners, I doubt many of them would have Chelsea in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I think Arsenal are interesting. You've got Barca, Bayern, and Liverpool. You know, so I think it could be Liverpool's year again, and the reason is because, you know, they topped the league last year. I think they were very unfortunate to get PSG.
Yeah.
If they didn't get PSG, I reckon they would have gone to the final. And if that's the case, they could well have won it. They've strengthened well. They're not at their best, but I reckon they'll be at their best by the time you hit the knockouts. So I reckon they're a very good chance. If I was going to bet, I'd say Liverpool. And the one behind them, I think, is Bayern. Because I think Luis Diaz is doing an unbelievable job there. I'm the biggest fan of him. I cannot work out why Liverpool would let that guy go. And then you've got Elise, who's just gone to a completely different level there. Yeah. Kane always good. I think Company did a reasonable job this season. I expect them to be better. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bayern got another title.
What about Real Madrid, Foz?
Yeah, I think. I just don't know if... I haven't seen enough of them under Xabi Alonso to... I've seen all the games, but I haven't seen enough... They haven't had enough games under him to be clear as to whether, under that sort of pressure, he's going to be capable of producing what he needs to. And a first year at that club... no great European experience from Xabi. Lost a European final
to Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm just not sure.
So your dark horse is Bayern Munich, the biggest club in the history of German football.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that bad?
Well, not exactly 101 outside of the Melbourne Cup.
Well, I don't think anyone is saying that they're the favourites, for example. So I think
we'll go champion Real Madrid.
Okay.
I think.
Yep.
Xabi Alonso is a great appointment with that squad.
Yeah, hopefully.
And I'll go a dark horse, and it's great to have them back in the Champions League, and it's great to have the manager back in the Champions League because he's so, and we mentioned him earlier, it's Antonio Conte's Napoli.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Man City, they got Man City away, right?
Correct.
The first game?
Yeah, opening game, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
good. They can do a little sneaky Inter Milan job and maybe go a long way.
You reckon win it? You're saying win it?
No, well, the Inter Milan didn't win it. They got absolutely tapped in the final.
Yeah.
Maybe make the
but
final.
you're not supposed to have a dark horse to win it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So you're saying Napoli could win it?
Well, they'll be in the last game. They'll play Real Madrid, and they could win it. They could come up with a performance
Okay.
that means they win the Champions League.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Put a line through those.
Well, you
two.
picked Inter to go, along.
Yeah, he did.
well there.
Yeah, he did well. Yeah, he
Thanks,
did well.
guys.
Up until the final.
Yeah, and then the squad disintegrated, and the manager went. Ange Ball.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I want your points total
All right.
for Ange in his next 5 Premier League games.
Premier League games, or do you want the whole lot?
Premier League games, which is
All right, Burnley away. All right, Burnley away. I reckon I'll get 3 points there. After watching Burnley on the weekend, they offered absolutely zero. They were just basically defence versus attack versus Liverpool. I think you get 3 points there. So there's 3, right?
You go in your brain about
Okay.
how many
okay.
overall.
You don't
and
want to
go
go
through game by game.
Oh.
Well, it sounds like you want to go through the list.
No, all right.
through the list,
Sunderland at home. I'll give another 3. There's your 6, yeah?
Wow.
All right, there you go. Newcastle away, loss.
4-0.
Yeah. Chelsea at home, loss. Bournemouth away, draw. So there you go. So what's
7.
that?
7 from
7
15.
it's 7 from 5 games. You asked for 5 games.
So 7 from a
7
possible
points
15.
from 5 games.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, there you go.
Okay, so tell me again. Burnley away.
So Burnley away, first one for us.
At least draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunderland home.
Sunderland home win, 4 points.
4.
Newcastle away.
Hopefully a draw.
You try not to tip us, aren't you?
5.
Just out of spite.
5.
Hopefully a draw.
Chelsea at home.
Chelsea.
Oh, I don't think anything against Chelsea.
Okay, and Bournemouth away.
Draw.
So 6 points.
Okay.
7-6. And what have you got? I've got 7-6 from 5 games. What are you going?
I don't care as long as he doesn't win anything at Newcastle.
All right, so you don't think Newcastle. What about you think the other ones? Chelsea at home?
Chelsea at home, no, but the rest he can get points
Bournemouth
out of.
away?
I'll go 9. I'll go 3 wins.
So you think you'll beat
Who are
Bournemouth
the 3
away?
wins?
So Bournemouth, Sunderland, and so 2 away wins. He reckons they'll
Burnley,
beat Burnley
Sunderland,
and Bournemouth away, and he reckons he'll beat Sunderland at home. Yeah.
Winner buys lunch.
This has been another Stan Sport production. The only place to watch the English Premier League live and on demand with 4K is on football's new home, Stan Sport. Add Stan Sport now at stan.com.au/sport.